to Fate of the Anchorman at my channel. I am Little Red Dot. I'm going to be GMing tonight. This crazy little campaign that I threw together. We are in episode 3 of 4. The countdown is, well, we're over halfway there. The team only has exactly 6 hours, the production team, to find the missing Anchormen. But let's go around and actually meet our production crew. Well, all but one. So we'll start with our odd man out. Dallas Jackson. How are you tonight, James?
I am wonderful. Thank you for asking. How are you?
It's been a week. Let me tell you what, teaching kids is, people always told me that teaching kids was one of those things that, like, not everybody's cut out for. I'm going to be really honest with all of you at home. I'm afraid I am in that group of people that I'm just not cut out for children, other people's children. Like, they're just the worst. They just make you hate everything.
Or maybe you're just a person and you realize the reality of the situation. So
that is also true. That, you know what, let's go with that one.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go with okay, cool. Yeah, sorry.
I'm having a great time.
Who are you playing tonight?
I am playing Dallas Jackson, the weatherman, which is, not a real Anchorman. It's like the bass player in a band. It's not really a band member. So that's who I'm playing.
That is true. You're there, but you're only there because they want you there, not because, whatever.
Yeah, but he's relatively new to the station,
yep.
So he's trying to make a good impression, and I think he's had a hell of a day so far.
Well, we'll see how it goes. I mean, he's had his heart broken already.
Oh yeah. He's had his heart broken. He's been swimming in a sea of emotions, maybe a glass case of emotion.
A city called Philadelphia of emotion.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
In the streets of Philly.
Well, we'll see what he can learn tonight. I mean, he is on the rescue to save his lady. Well, possibly his lady.
She is missing.
She is missing.
She is absolutely missing.
Chloe Baxter is missing.
Yeah. He definitely wants to save her, but I'm not sure why at this point. Maybe it's...
That is for Dallas Jackson to find out.
That is.
And moving right along, we have the director of our news station. How are you tonight, Jack?
I'm doing good. Been a little under the weather this week, but there ain't no cure like some 70s Philadelphia news brawling action.
This is a very true statement. Very, very true statement. So you're playing Mr. King. Tell us just a smidge about him. We're about halfway through in case new people are tuning in.
Yeah, so I am playing Mr. Jesse King, but he doesn't like to be called by his first name, and if you call him that, he'll punch you in the face because he thinks it's a girl's name. And he is the director of our fine establishment after being a baseball manager, fighting in the Korean War, coming back, losing his team, and then moving into the world of news, which is just about as competitive in this city.
Yeah.
He is pretty tough, and it's all about, like, he knows, like, all of the legends and all the myths and all the different people and understands very well everyone's place in the universe. So he's kind of our lore weaver and make sure everyone knows exactly where they belong.
Good man to have on board, especially with this team. Yeah. And next up, we have Fuzzy here. You're playing our wardrobe stylist.
Oh, hello, darlings. Yes, yes, I play Jennifer Jones. She's she used to be a theatrical wardrobe mistress, and then sort of moved to America for Hollywood, and ended up working in local news because, quite frankly, it's all she could get. She's slumming it. It's fine. So yeah, she drinks a lot. She smokes a lot. She's the town city bike, and she's just very yes, darlings. Yes, and I'm Fuzzy Freaks, and I do fuzzy things over on twitch.tv/Fuzzy Freaks. Hi, I'm terrible at introductions.
No, you nailed it.
Not as hard as Jennifer would.
Yeah, you nailed it as good as Jennifer would, and that's really all we can ask. Awesome. And next up, we have the writer of the group. How are you, Adam?
Oh, I am doing great, thank you. And yourself?
About the same, I guess. I'm going to keep saying okay so that I don't keep spilling my guts about these children.
Very wise. But yes, I'll be playing the lead writer of the news team, Matthias Gildenthorn. He wanted to be a journalist, but print is dying off. He decided realized that nobody wanted to read the news. They just wanted to have it read to them by beautiful idiots. So I started writing the news for them to read.
Ah, and how's that been working out for you?
Not great. A lot of life regrets.
You know, as I feel like there are so many writers that would say that about their life. It seems very par for the course. Awesome.
Yeah, I don't think anybody writes because they're happy.
Oh. Unless you write children's books, but even then, maybe you're really unhappier.
Oh, certainly not. Those are the worst.
Those are the ones that really hate their lives. Awesome. And then, speaking of, somebody with a lot of life to have lived, last but certainly not least, Rim is playing our very old cameraman. How are you, Rim?
Doing great. Also, that teaching life. Yeah.
Yep. Teaching life.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm doing all right. Ready to film the news. Ready to drive the news. Ready to make it happen.
Making it happen. Well, before we can make it happen, there are a few things I want to tell you guys about. So first things first, I am developing this game setting so that anybody can use it. I'm planning to release it. Right now, I'm raising funds to make that a reality. So you can go to my Ko-Fi and check the bar there. I'm going to release it one way or another, but if you donate me a cup of coffee to write this sucker, you're going to get a free PDF copy of it. It's that simple. So go, buy coffee, get a PDF. Sounds like a fair deal. I feel this is fair trade. And you're going to get this awesome Anchorman. I say that. It's more of a general news-themed build out for Fake Core. And one of the new things that I've added to it and started writing this week, which is going to change the way that you can donate to the game. So at the $10 level, I've changed what you can do. This game setting is going to include something called breaking news entries, where the GM can in fact spend a fate point to insert a piece of breaking news. But for the sake of this campaign, I'm actually going to let you do that. So at $10, you get to pay for a piece of breaking news, which I get to release to the characters. That's a pivotal piece of information in this campaign. So, breaking news. You can also donate things like fate points, which the characters can use. You can also donate advantages, which simply means that they don't have to use a fate point. It's an opportunity in their exact next moment to be able to call upon a stunt without having to really pay for one. So lots of great things that they can use those for. And I've set it up now so your names scroll across the screen, like in old news TV, because I thought that was cute and funny, because I'm sometimes cute and funny. Okay, that's it. That's what I've got. So, yeah, moving right along. So let's hop back in. We need to do a little bit of a recap because quite a lot of information was deciphered and delivered last week during the campaign. So let's take a second and see what the crew remembers. What was probably the most important thing that happened to your character that your character would take away? We're going to go backwards. Mr. Bernie, if your memory doesn't leave you, what in fact do you remember?
Okay, I'm trying to think of the order. Okay, place. Bernie is probably, if the police are any kind of way coherent, is probably responsible for several hundreds of manslaughter accounts due to him putting a lot of people to sleep by speaking over the radio and causing a giant mess of things all over Philly. But hey, what do? They were listening to the radio. They had it coming. That's him. That's what happened.
Yep. You did in fact do that with the help, in fact, of our director. And you know what? That's a nice segue. Why don't you tell us, Mr. King, what in fact do you remember beyond putting, half the populace of Philadelphia to sleep?
I remember doing something that's only maybe 3 times in history, for doing a director's handshake, as we made a deal with Channel 3, I believe, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Made a deal with Channel 3 that whoever is not first to read the news, so whoever's second to read the news today at 6 o'clock, will have to forever become a radio station.
No, not a radio station.
I'm afraid so, but I'm sure we're going to win, so Channel 3 has it coming.
Channel 3 does have it coming. But they may say the same for you. So I'll clarify this director's handshake in more detail here shortly, but that was a very important thing. And you're right, it doesn't happen very often in the history of the Anchormen. It is only rumored to ever have been a thing.
Yep.
What about old Dallas Jackson? What does Dallas Jackson remember?
Let's see. Dallas Jackson remembers a whole lot of drugs were taken throughout the day.
Oh, yeah.
There were a lot of drugs taken throughout the day.
Yep.
He remembers that?
He came face to face. He came face to face with his hippie past, and I think he's trying to pretend like it didn't happen to anybody else, but he knows it's there.
Yeah. And what hippies did you meet?
We met some hippies from the radio.
Yeah, radio hippies. Those damn radio hippies.
Yeah, some like Janis Joplin loving people, you know? And yeah, it took him back.
If I remember correctly, actually, let me pull that up so we know exactly which one that is, because it was an important radio station, a new one, in fact, which was 98.9? Was that right?
Yeah.
98.9? Or, no, it was 102.9.
I'm just going to say yes to anything, apparently.
Oh, close, okay. Well, that's how appropriate for the weatherman.
Right. Well, of course it is. I believe that's 70% right.
So, you're right. Oh, you did visit some hippies at a local radio station, 102.9, which was laughably called a radio station, but it was. And, well, let's see if anybody remembers what happened after. We'll actually hop down to our wardrobe and stylist, Miss Jennifer. What do you remember through the alcohol-induced, you know?
Jennifer remembers trying to seduce a security guard / bouncer in a toilet to distract him, so that everybody else could get upstairs to the club and look for clues or whatever. There was sobbing, mostly his.
Correct. There was sobbing. He cried a lot. You empathized with him in your lovemaking process, causing the big bouncer to cry.
They're there, darling. They're there. That's fine. Yes, let it all out.
But
yes.
made for the perfect distraction.
Not on the polyester.
No, not on the suede. And last but certainly not least, our writer. What does Matthias remember?
Oh, let's see. Started off investigating a warehouse that was putting on a sham suit sale that lured in all the Anchormen. While investigating the premises, we found, I believe it was a button or pin with that radio station's logo on it. Then we went to that station and apparently just burned it down without asking any questions.
You did that.
Causing mass hysteria around the city. And then went to the boyfriend of the radio DJ's club, broke in, started snooping around the place, found evidence that our lead anchorman owed the club owner a considerable amount of money for drugs. And,
marked by, I believe, a dick emblem in his ledger.
Yes, there were little tiny peni drawn all over the ledger book.
Okay. Yep.
And then we found a photograph, a very incriminating photograph, as I recall.
So, all these things, in fact, did happen. We started out investigating at this warehouse where you actually spoke with a young boy that you found cowering in a corner after he witnessed the taking of all the Anchormen. And a couple black vans with black-robed figures as they were lured, like you said, to this sham of a suit sale. You did also find the pen, which seemed to fall out of somebody's pocket, leading you to this radio station. At the radio station were basically one passed out dude, which I think we hit over the head. Didn't that happen? You guys hit the poor man.
I conked him with a bottle, if I recall.
That's right. And you guys put the DJ to sleep on air by the two older men in the group telling a story, which of course puts any person to sleep. So about half the city of Philadelphia overheard this story and fell asleep at the wheels of their cars, eating lunch, going to the bathroom, taking phone calls, feeding the kids, walking across streets, the usual stuff. And also left a fire burning on the soundboard in the space, which means that Philadelphia is in fact burning and turning. This is a new aspect we have added because the city is in mass panic because half the people have just conked out. But this led you to a club because it looks like this kind of hippie DJ Mary Jane, was dating this local club owner. You guys got there, you investigated some things, you wooed some bouncers into corners, got them crying, and you learned a few different things. There was a meeting going on inside of the club during the daylight hours. Looks like a bunch of the club owners are convening. We tracked upstairs to his penthouse, thanks to Dallas, and found a couple women who relayed some information. No, they didn't relay information. You left them sleeping, didn't you? Yeah, you left the naked women sleeping. You were more interested in viewing the happenings downstairs. And the director found, or was it, I can't remember, it was Matthias or the director, it doesn't matter. There was a photograph on the desk of the club owner that was picked up, and it was in fact the director that recognized right at the end that this photograph of the club owner standing with some kind of disco dancer, who had just won a prize, was signed the Boogie Oogie Oogie Man. And Mr. King recognized this as an intern that they fired 2 years back. We will pick up today's story with the camera panning through the club, past the feet and table of all of the club owners that are standing around, and the pool table that is their kind of centralized point. And the camera pans past them, behind the bar and into the hallway. And there we see all 5 of you standing. You've been here for a bit, and you did break in, so I'm going to quickly add a situational aspect to this, called breaking and entering, because you have, in fact, done the whole breaking and entering thing, which is something that you can use to your advantage, or potentially I could use to my advantage. So, as the let's just say the bouncer has been rocked into a slumber. What do all of you do?
If the bouncer is asleep, I'll probably just kind of like just give it a little pat on the head, and or probably go through his pockets just to see if there's any sort of like useful security stuff. You know, it's like, oh, are there any clues in here?
Yeah.
Oh God, is this a Marks and Spencer's? Oh dear.
Yeah, the tag is, you can tell it's a bit old, probably was bought secondhand, but it does fit him well. As you go through his pockets, you find normal things, a wallet, keys, some cash, or quite a large bit of cash.
I'll leave his cash. I don't need the cash.
Okay, well, okay. You leave the cash.
If he's got drugs on them, I'll take them.
Exactly.
He got cash. You said. Hang on.
Does have some drugs on him. He does have a small cask of white powder, which you can only rightfully assume is cocaine, and
on my face. I'm still wiping it off.
Oh yeah, that's right. You already had some.
Whoa.
Whoa there.
Guys, what do you want to do? What are we doing?
Well, it's about noon. We could go get some lunch, just if I got a refuel.
No,
Anybody had lunch yet?
Good.
You guys want to go get lunch? Vance, I'm
ready. Let's go.
I like lunch, yes. I'm just going to little... yes. Bracing. Right.
Okay, so what you guys feeling? Is there like a burger, maybe a cheesesteak?
Go for a burger, I think.
Okay, let's. What are you feeling? Finnegan's or Shooters? Shooters is downtown.
Oh, Shooters.
We can do tea there. Can we get a cup of tea there?
Yes, because there's a T in the word Shooters, so that means they got it. So yeah, let's go downtown. We got about 10 minutes.
Can I get a pot of hot water? I brought my own tea. It's fine.
They probably got a pot of grease they can get you, but okay. Shooters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's get a car. Let's get it.
Woo.
We go get lunch.
You guys high as fucking kites. Hop in the van.
Oh yeah, we're hungry.
And you're like, lunch! Even though literally you have like T-minus less than 6 hours to find these guys.
Priorities. We also need to figure out.
It's a working lunch, darling.
It's a working lunch.
Put the pieces together.
Mr. King, will this be expensed? Who's paying for the lunch?
We are out here saving the news station, so of course it's going to be expensive.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Which means everyone can get a large fry.
I can get desserts.
So you, oh my god.
I'd like
Tiny
to
cupcakes.
some kind of montage, like Dallas is out the window, half out the window, like, we're going to host shooters. Woo!
The driving around crashed fiery vehicle.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
I
probably
gotta deal with that. Oh no.
I was about to say, the music starts, the fucking music starts as you guys load into the van and begin your drive. Mr. Bernie, make me a drive check to go see.
Oh, I'll make that a drive check.
I know you will every time, but I gotta ask for it.
going to host
At a
shooters.
6! Mr. Bernie is dodging through what is inevitably horrible traffic because the city's in chaos. And he's like skidding through broken cars, people sleeping on the sidewalks, panics ensued, cops are everywhere. And you guys daftly and pull your
Out
wheels
of the
up.
way, we want a hamburger.
And you guys get out at the front of O Shooters, which is a pretty swanky joint, maybe. At least in your high state, it seems to be. You go in, and there's all kinds of things on the walls, and a girl, in fact, does greet you. She is the hostess, of course, and she walks up and says, like, can I help you?
Oh, yeah. So you still
tea.
Yeah, you got hot water?
I mean, we can make water hot.
Also, we have very important news business to discuss. Do you have perhaps a secluded booth?
I've got that booth, and she points to like a corner booth that clearly sits like 6 or 8 people.
Is it the corner? Is it the kind with a circle? Because I love those.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
a corner booth. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You like Art Deco still, kind of, because
Yep.
it's built a long time ago?
Yeah. So, you know, the leather is a strange orange color, and it has these pinstriping down it, kind of like vintage cars would. The tabletop is a funky pattern, and she comes up and sits you down, places some menus on the table, and she's like, what can I get you to, I guess, drink?
I'll have a glass of water and one of them small chocolate shakes
Okay.
with the cream on top, no cheddar. You can give
Okay.
my cherry to one of them, though, if they want it.
Okay.
I do like a cherry now and again, yes.
So, can I just take your cherry and put it on her drink?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
Okay, so,
Can we watch?
Oh, I want to watch. I'm
she's
a
like,
watcher.
well, he makes the drinks, and she points over, there's a bar against a wall, very similar to, most kind of general restaurants, and there's a hefty gentleman, large in size, big burly beard, who's like clearly pouring drinks unhappily behind this bar. His shirt is too tight, he's ripped the sleeves off because his arms won't fit in, and he's making
I will
grunting
pay
noises.
extra if that guy comes over here and makes it for us.
I'll go halves with you on that.
Thank you.
Okay.
It's for the news.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to flash him seductive looks from across the room.
You mean like the news?
The news.
Oh,
That's right, young lady.
yeah.
Are you news anchors?
Well,
Well, that one's 1/4 anchor, but the rest of
That's
us are the
me.
production team.
We're with him.
So you're not news anchors.
We're the ones you got to get through if you want to meet the news anchors. So
Yeah,
if
we're-
we think this place is good, we'll bring
You're like their agent.
Yeah.
we're
No,
the
I'm
whole
a
new
weatherman.
ship.
Can I say that? I'm a weatherman. I do the weather.
Oh, you
He
tell the
does do
weather?
weather.
So
I do
you
it.
are an anchor
Does it?
man.
I love the weather.
Oh,
And it
me
loves
too.
him too.
When
In the
it's
past.
Never stops talking.
Do you know what the weather's gonna be tomorrow?
Oh yeah, the weather tomorrow is going to be 65% chance of light drizzle, but I also believe there's going to be a bit of chaos and fire.
Oh.
Have you looked outside?
No, I've been on
That's usually what I do.
Oh.
Hey, that's a weather joke. See? Anyways, about that guy over there. who
She
can make
goes,
us a
yeah. And she's like, so water's all around or something?
Whiskey for me, please.
In a chocolate shake. Remember?
This is a
I-
working man.
Right.
I would like a cup of hot boiling water, boiling water with
Okay.
kettle.
Deep fry it. Deep fry the water.
Deep fried.
Just take the deep
water.
fry liquid and pour that in a cup.
And I want a Coca-Cola.
Oh, okay. Right.
Oh, and I want some milk and some sugar on the side.
anything for you? And she turns to the writer, who's been very quiet in the booth.
I'd like a Schlitz, please.
Slits. Okay. And she goes over to the bar, and you see her, like, rip the tab off and hand it to the guy. He loads up the waters, and she's clearly talking to him. He keeps looking more and more stern, his eyebrows becoming more and more furrowed with probably the proposition at which she posted. He says, he does eventually waddle from behind the bar. You see that, again, his shirt is a little too short. He comes over.
My God, by the way, do you know how to make a hurricane?
I don't think you would know a hurricane if you saw one.
Oh.
Was that a joke? He's like, oh, here. And just starts, like, putting drinks down on the table for all of you, and realizes that he put the cherry on top of, the cherry ended up on Mr. Bernie. He's, like, reading the note back, and he takes his fingers, his nasty man fingers, and plucks the cherry from the top and plops it in Twitch's drink.
I'm giving him my
Jennifer's
best
drink.
seductive looks, by the way. I'm just like, well, hello, aren't you a long, tall drink of water?
Broad. I believe he's a broad drink of water.
It's a drink of that water you got right there, the real hot boiling.
I think he needs a new shirt.
Oh no, I think that shirt's just
Do
fine.
you-
So tell me, have you worked here long? Do you work here often?
5 years.
Oh, what's your name, darling?
Bill.
Bill. Oh, lovely, Bill. Tell me, would you like to fuck?
Whoa. Wait a minute. I don't know if we have time for this.
Nope,
episode. We gotta
that's
think
a
about
roll. That's, if you're being serious, that is 100% a provoke roll. You are provoking him to get aroused.
Woo! Right. It's Jennifer. She's not what you'd call subtle. That's a
Hey.
5.
I do, in fact, want to get laid. Are you propositioning me, or is it the old man? Because I'm not really into that.
You, me, toilets, 5 minutes.
He looks over at the waitress at the bar who's standing there, and she's like got that innocent 16-year-old look on her face, and he's like, I'm gonna take my break. And she's like, but you're not supposed to take it for another hour. And he bolts as fast as his body can carry him towards the toilets.
I'll be right back.
Off
Don't
goes
forget
Jim.
your hot water. Make it to
Oh, could you put the tea bag in it for me? Thank you.
Okay, yeah, I'll teabag this while he teabags you. Let me just go ahead and steep in it.
God. And she does, in fact, come over with the rest of the drinks. This boiling hot cup of, in a coffee cup. She has some water, and everybody else hopefully got the correct drink. She passes him out, and she's like, so is your friend gonna be mad if it's not hot or something?
She's very, very British.
So then why is she, like, not here? Because I can't keep it hot.
Well, it's a time difference, you know, from where she's from. And this is the East Coast.
Where is
She's
she,
just-
like, from?
They call
Well-
it across the pond.
Across the big pond, the giant pond with all
Philadelphia
the-
doesn't have a pond.
It's got cream cheese. So it's got a pond. My tooth fell out.
I do. What?
I believe we'll figure it out when she gets here. Until then,
Okay.
Mr. King.
Like burgers or something?
oh right.
Do you have a child's menu? The weatherman might also like to eat.
Oh, it's really only a grilled cheese, a corn dog, or a smaller burger.
But do you get a
Does
toy?
that sound nice, buddy? Don't you? Don't want
Is there a toy? Matthias, you know I can't operate without a toy.
We don't
In
serve
mind.
toys, but I do have crayons.
Beautiful. Yes, give me a corn dog and some crayons, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I will have 2 corn dogs. And my British friend here, she gets what they call chips. Chip is like a fry, but they call it a chip.
So she just wants some fries.
Yeah, but you don't call it a chip.
No, so I call it fries.
Okay, you call that too. I mean, I don't know. I'm
So
just
she wants an
translating.
order of fries with her burger. Okay, anybody else? She like picks her thing up, starts writing again.
I'll have 3 corn dogs.
So I've got a single, a double corn, and a triple corn.
At this point, Jennifer comes back again. She's just like,
Oh.
The real question is, how was it? Roll a performance check.
oh god, it's probably shit. Wait, do I even have performance?
I would take it empathy as well.
Oh yeah,
You seem to be able to have very empathetic
Yeah.
sex.
it was alright.
I did too. It was bathroom sex. With a rather large, sweaty, hairy man who's probably
One of the toilets was blocked, so you know she's.
yeah. It was kind of smelly in there, and the stalls were not very big, so it was passable.
It was a 5-minute knee tremor.
Yeah, it was like lunch, just exactly what you needed.
Exactly.
Yep, fulfilling. So you, out waddles, very guiltily, still pulling his shirt down, trying to button up his pants, the bartender who takes his place. The waitress, writes down some orders, assumes, whatever it is you want, and quickly putters off towards the kitchen. The 5 of you are left seated, in a relatively, busy restaurant. The pace has begun to pick up. It is past noon, and the lunch rush is beginning to come in. Well,
Jennifer's trying to make a cup of tea with no teaspoon and just like squeezing the tea. But this is lukewarm. This is lukewarm. This is oh dear.
All right.
Mr. King, what do you know about this intern?
Yes, so before we discuss that, the spoof isn't currently private enough. And what I've learned is only one way to handle that kind of situation. He's going to pull out a whole pack of cigarettes and just light them all and just put them on a table and make like the foggy booth in the corner.
yeah, there were a couple people that were like, God. And anybody nearby kind of draws away and seems to not want to be involved.
Now then, what we have here is a case of betrayal. No, I don't care if you're an anchorman. I don't care if you're a cameraman. I don't care if you're an intern, even a bad intern. Once you work for the news, you worked for the news. And the fact that he would turn on us like this is an absolute betrayal. So we need to track down this Boogie Oogie Oogie Man and put him in his place.
What is this place exactly?
I haven't figured that entirely out yet. Probably, well, he's already in on a
Jail.
Jail would be good. Not bad.
They have horrible outfits in jail.
Ooh, yes.
Why don't you, I'm going to have you roll me a lore there, Mr. Director. Let's see how much you can recall about this guy. I'll feed you guys a little bit of information.
Alrighty.
Because since we are kind of racking our brains. Alright.
A 1.
At a 1, you remember easily that his name was Lester. Lester was a bit of a fanboy, if you could say. Not necessarily great and not terribly charismatic. Kind of tall and lanky, never really grew into his body to be an intern here at the station. And freaked Dickie out quite a lot. Dick Norton, your lead anchor, and you guys fired him because Dick Norton wanted him gone.
Honestly, this is all my fault. I never should have hired an intern or anyone named Lester. What kind of name is that?
Stupid.
Now, what I'm going to do...
Very, very stupid, yes.
Now, what I'm going to do is walk over to that payphone, and I'm going to call HR down at the news station, see if I can get a home address for this Lester.
Oh, yes, we can confront him.
Exactly. Find our Anchormen.
Uncharacteristically good thinking. Bravo.
And there is a booth out front. You also could potentially ask to use the rotary phone inside the diner or this restaurant if you wanted. The bartender at this point would gladly allow you to use it.
And that's not nearly private enough for this kind of sensitive situation.
See. You need yourself a glass case of emotion. So
I do.
You go outside. There's one right on the corner. They're pretty frequent and around. You're able to quickly slot a coin in and boop, 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 dial up rotary up the news station. The phone rings for a little bit, and finally the quaint voice of the HR woman, who is very old, answers, hello? Can I help you?
It's me, Mr. King.
Oh, Mr. King, how are you?
Good. I need you to keep something on the down low for me, on the hush-hush. Can you do that?
can you speak a little louder? I can't hear you.
I need you to keep something on the down low, the hush.
Oh, got it quiet. Yes, I can be quiet.
We have a code 37, and I need the home address of someone who used to work for us.
A code 37? And she gets a little like, oh my. Okay. Do we have a name?
It's a crappy intern we used to have. His name's Lester. Don't know his last name.
Oh, I remember Lester. Strange child. Liked to dance.
He liked to boogie.
And she says, "Oh, let me run it." And you hear her kind of set the phone down and shuffle her feet like shh over. She's digging through filing cabinets. It takes her a little bit to get back to you, but she just come back and file flops down. She picks up the phone and says, "Oh, Lester," and she opens it up. Oh no. Well, Lester's an orphan. Was turned out by the system.
I see. So if we want to find out where he lives, we're going to have to find him through the government or through someone who knows him then.
Well, I mean, if you spent any time with the kid, you know he liked to dance down at one of the local discos.
Normally people like me are forbidden from stepping foot on a disco, but perhaps I can break the rules just for this circumstance. What disco?
You might want to funky up, Mr. King. You might draw attention.
Indeed.
And she says, "Well, good luck." And you hear her say, "You only have a few hours."
I know. But don't worry. I'm in a glass case of espionage, and I can do anything I want in a glass case of espionage.
She goes, what? What did you say? And then you hear her like fumble and drop the phone as if, she was like shaking too much to hold it. The receiver clicks and she goes, "Oh no!" And the line goes, it spits out a coin to you because you didn't use all of your time. And you're able to go rejoin the crew. While you were away in your absence, the waitress brought back corn dogs aplenty, even though you guys wanted burgers. Kills me.
What is this a lollipop?
Pretend it's a penis. Just put it in your mouth.
Oh.
There you go. Well done.
I'm going to proceed to eat my corn dogs with a knife and fork.
Jennifer just like engulfs hers in one goes.
I'm licking mine like the ice cream.
Mr. King does like the mustard and the ketchup, like is the little like little sine waves, like alternating, like you see at like a ballpark or something.
Duplicating that.
Dallas, you have corn dog bites. Yours didn't come with sticks in them because you ordered on the kids menu.
I have the little tiny ones. I have the kid-sized
The
ones.
tiny weenies.
You have a little tiny box of crayons and a little sort of colouring activity thing as well.
I'm coloring out some like rain clouds and maybe a sunshine and then like a.
You're doing such a good job.
You are.
That's
corn
a
dog
cumulus
sticks in a
cloud.
blanket.
That's so cute. He even drew a little weather map.
Look at
Here-
it. Here, look, I'll hold it
Here's
behind
the
you and you
forecast
tell
for
us
the next
about
4 days.
Amazing.
I'll hold it behind him.
Oh my goodness! You could do a little. You could draw on when you're doing the weather forecast, couldn't you? You could draw it out. Oh, that
Just
would be
don't-
lovely.
Just don't use the color green because it won't show up.
Flash to a distant future. You only use the color green. I'm like, oh.
I never think of. So you guys realize as he's like coloring away on this outside the lines, like not even enjoying what the actual coloring sheet that was given to him is. There is like a funky kind of hand drawn coloring sheet that says it says "Get Funky" on it, and it seems to be an advertisement. In fact,
What is this? Dallas, may I just?
Wait. I'm an artist.
All right. Well, just move your hand. I can't see what.
Okay, all right, here we go. There you go.
What-
And it's called The Coastline. The Coastline, you all know, as soon as you like read it, you can see it. It's got the advertisement and the numbers and everything. And, there's just like a little funky guy like getting down. It says, get funky. At Coastline. And Coastline is in fact was a real 70s dance club for any history buffs out there. In Philadelphia. It was like a ship themed,
So bell bottoms.
Yeah, lots of bell bottoms. And you know it to be one of the busier nightclubs and larger nightclubs, but they are well known for two things. The dancing and the roller disco.
Roller disco.
I think it's time to tell you all what I learned on the phone.
What did you learn?
Well, Dallas, Miss Jones, you'll both be happy to hear this. Matthias, I don't know. Ernie, we have to face something we hope we never would have to face. To find the Boogie Oogie Man, we have to go to the disco.
What? What? Fuck! What the fuck, Mr. King?
Hold on,
Disco?
Bernie. I believe this is an experience that you may benefit from.
This
How could
is
anyone
the one with the
benefit
damn
from disco?
roller skates, is it?
Have you tried dancing on roller skates to funky music?
Listen, I know how to
Have
navigate
you
some
tried it?
wheels. Sir, I
Yes
have
or no?
No, I have not, good sir.
That's
I
right.
don't. I've heard you already.
That's
Stop
enough.
yelling. My ears are old.
Benny,
Yes.
just imagine you're wearing a car on each foot.
Maybe.
Close your eyes and imagine it.
Maybe.
A car on each foot. Just imagine. Brum, brum.
Bernie, we always knew someday the darkness would come from the funk. This is it.
It's gotten too funky.
I'll be
You
honest.
can do it. I
really
believe
like
in you,
the funk.
Bernie.
I've
You have
always
wonderful
told you.
conversation.
Is that something I can say?
Oh, what? Hello, cat.
Is that something I can say? I actually really like the funk. Anybody else? Nobody?
No.
Jennifer?
As he says that, a button
Anyone?
on his shirt goes a smidge lower, like unnaturally pops open to reveal more of his.
I mean, I'm just saying, the funk's not a bad thing if you let it into your heart.
Well, you better keep your funk in your
Let
trunk.
the funk in.
I've been known to get down and funky on occasion.
No, Dallas, you put that suit back on.
I'm sorry.
What are you doing, man?
Oh, the
But I'm
funk is
feeling-
taking over.
The funk has taken over, Dallas.
That is
Jackson.
officially a new aspect. The funk is taking over. This is
Jennifer's hair's getting bigger.
yeah. Things
Oh,
begin
no.
to happen. People are beginning to change.
The shoes. There's wheels on my shoes.
Matthias, quick, use some of your squareness to calm him down.
I
Stand up.
no. The funk.
Who loves the funk? Who loves the funk?
God, I want the funk.
Who wants
Can't
it?
take the funk anymore.
Who wants the funk?
I'll
I
take the
can't
funk.
hear you. I can't hear you.
I'm sitting right next to you.
What would you say it?
I guess the funk
want it?
wants me.
It's the funk wants you.
It's reaching out for you.
I'm always down to funk.
Its tentacles are wrapping around you right now,
Oh, tentacle.
closing against your heart.
Ah,
That too.
It's like a hug
It's like,
from Jesus.
oh.
Like
A
if Jesus
funky
were in a funk band.
Jesus.
Do you feel it?
Oh, I can
I
feel
feel
it.
that.
I feel it right now.
Wait, whose hand is that? Oh,
That
I am
could.
very sorry, but I just got into the funk and it just. Oh, okay.
It's taking over.
It's taken over.
So we in fact do have a montage. If the plan is to go to this funk club, you are going to have to be much funkier. I will allow Dallas Jackson to roll a craft if you don't have one, or you can give a bonus to Jennifer to make all of you more funky. And we have this montage that goes down.
I think I would much rather give it to Jennifer. So that way she can make the funk outfits,
Yeah.
but Dallas Jackson
You're
is
the
back there.
inspiration.
I'm the inspiration.
Yeah.
The inspirations.
The inspirations.
All right. So what am I getting?
So basically, you're gonna add. It's gonna ask you for that modifier. Just gonna add a 1 to it.
Okay.
That's the way I like to do
How
that.
funky are we going to be? Everybody pray for funk. Pray for funk.
It's gonna be funky.
Never.
It is so funky at a 4. At a 4, that qualifies as a great roll in Fate. So, at a great, you guys are greatly funky. You have this swanky montage in the bathroom post-coital. Of you guys all getting
Don't lean on that
funky.
thing, darling. No, just don't.
Basically in a Chili's like restroom, just like everyone's getting like
Funky.
Funky.
And you
And
don't
we all
exactly
stop
know
rolling
how she's
after.
pulling things out of the bag that she carries, but you guys are in fact getting disco fresh.
Oh, yes.
I would like to know what do you add to your repertoire to make yourself disco fresh? Not
Me
that I
or-
guess Dallas had to do much. We'll go around and hear what you guys
Dallas
add.
just took his shirt off or took his jacket off.
And
He
you
already
guys
had-
realize he's been posing as Funk the whole time.
Yeah, this entire time I've just been in funk cognito.
I imagine I'm trading my ascot in for a gold medallion.
Oh, damn. That's all he needed. We can keep the jacket. It's just the swanky dallion.
By the way, I'm really sorry. I have to take an emergency call from work real quick. I should probably.
You
shouldn't
do
take
you,
that
Fred.
long.
We're gonna swank out for a second, so take your time.
All right.
Next up, who else? What do you do, Mr. King, to get funkier? Do you get funkier?
It's hard to get Mr. King really funky because he's an older guy, and he's maybe a little too old for the funk. So what he does is he wears like a tie-dye shirt under his suit, and goes in almost acting like maybe he's gonna be like the agent for all the funky kids, something like that. He's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
he's
Yeah,
our
there
agent.
are businessmen that come to this place. That would make sense. So you get funky, but not too funky. You want to maintain your air of control.
Exactly. Maybe he's like a scout or something like that.
Yeah.
Looking for the next funky thing.
All right. I dig that. I dig that a lot. And moving right along. How does Mr. Bernie get funky?
Okay, so Mr. Birdie stands up and immediately starts to slip around before finally catching his bearing on the side of the bathroom wall as the shoes now have wheels popping out of them. He's got roller skates. His hat turns into less of a chauffeur hat and more of like a pork pie hat, It's still something like so.
Nice.
Because he keeps it a little tight, slightly a bit old.
Uh-huh.
But his shirt is just covered in like a now quilted checkered pattern of that he probably looks like he just reminds him a lot of checkers. A lot of checkers going on, but the shoes, they're platform skates for one, so he's like a foot and a half taller.
Oh, brilliant.
Wow. And last but certainly not least, the most stylish of the bunch in all rights. How does Jennifer get funky?
Well, she makes her hair bigger. She's got sort of like, she's got, reversible cape thing. So it's like, oh, yes, I've got a cape now. I'm wonderful. And she also manages to give everybody emergency flare and collar extensions as well.
Oh, yes, of course. All
That
right.
Dracula look going on.
Yeah, get them collars nice and high. And you all do, in fact, get as super fresh and
And
funky.
wingtips are just like, whew, you could take off in high winds.
And the 5 of you roll out of this bathroom in a better state than you entered the restaurant. Even the low-key waitress gives you guys a kind of secondary glance as you exit, dropping her sunglasses to get a peek. As you exit and enter once again, finger guns. You exit the restaurant and head right back to the van. The coastline is going to be downtown. It's a very, very swanky place. So you have a little bit of a drive, again, due to the current situation with the city is burning and all that jazz. I'm going to have Mr. Bernie roll me once again a drive from place to place.
So since his shoes are now disco skates, he might have some trouble driving.
This is true.
Jeez. So one of you is gonna have to take the wheel. I'm just gonna hang on to the back. Real quick.
But Bernie, no one's ever driven your van before.
And you know
Not
what?
true. You remember, Bernie? We do this on the weekend.
Yeah.
Sometimes when there's a good storm to catch.
That is true. Dallas,
Let's do this.
Jackson takes the wheel.
So
Dallas Jackson takes the wheel.
So-
while Bernie has a wheel on his foot.
I got my foot wheels.
So
Foot
what we're
wheel,
gonna
foot
say
wheel.
is Dallas is in fact going to make the drive, but you're gonna get a modifier of 1 because Mr. Bernie is adding. He's helping
I'm a
steer
rudder.
you. Yeah, you're a rudder basically along the backside of the van through this crazy city.
Actually, could I spend a fate point to do my weekend storm chasers with old man Bernie?
It seems like
stunt?
you guys are. Yeah, why not? You
We
are
are the
chasing.
storm,
You are
guys.
chasing the storm.
And we're singing the storm chaser song the
You
entire
are.
time.
Yeah, I absolutely will take that. You guys
There's a
activate.
storm, and we're chasing the storm together, me and Bernie.
Yeah, I'm chasing the storm.
Chasing the storm.
Chasing it around because it's hiding.
Yeah, I see you, storm.
Nobody-
How we do, storm.
Nobody can hear this over the wails of Philadelphia as women scream and babies cry, but the two of you sing your
Do we
tune.
soothe them as we pass by? Do we soothe them with our music?
No,
Okay.
no.
Probably
I
not.
thought about that. That's a
Do
negatory.
they scream louder?
Probably.
Some of them to my ears. Yeah.
That's why we don't do radio.
This is- Maybe
Also
you
'cause we have
will.
standards.
Maybe
We have
you
standards.
will.
Nope. I will hold the recording.
I was about to
button if
say
that
we
ever
better
happens.
hope you don't break the director's contract.
Ooh.
It was all fun and games, but now it's all.
But now it's all serious.
Yeah.
Bwomp, womp,
Thanks.
womp. And as you guys rudder through the streets, we'll say you do. You use your storm chaser antics. This time, not chasing a storm, but in fact, the storm. The storm of news that rumbles upon the horizon as you race towards the coastline. You guys, again, deftly pull up out front. Mr. Bernie acting as the brakes. You watch as he skids in on his roller toes.
Burning brakes.
Oh.
We're burning rubber. Get it? Get it, Dallas? It's my name. It's my name. It's Bernie. So I make a joke.
Put my hand on your shoulder. You'll forever be burned rubber now.
Oh, there's a reason I'm not the writer. Let's go. Let's figure this out.
And you guys kind of tumble out of the van. Now, it is not, it's just a little afternoon, so it's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, which means the club is not really open per se, at least not in terms of what you're going to find in the nightlife, and it is also a Monday. The door seems to be closed, but the front that you're looking at on this club, it is not attached to anything else around it. It's a very large building, maybe 2 stories high. Seems to probably be some kind of converted warehouse, or built kind of like a warehouse might be. But as you get up close, you begin to realize that all the windows on it are pretty much blacked out, so you can't see the activity on the inside. And as you enter, the doorway seems like a porthole to a cruise ship. Theme from the interior seems to be spilling outwards for the exterior decoration. The door seems
Well.
unmanned.
It makes sense. It anchors away. Get it? You get it,
my
guys? Oh, I'm full of them tonight. I'm full of them.
What? No, I don't understand.
Okay.
Well, let's go and
While you do that, I think I'm going to go make a perimeter around the building, see if I can see anywhere someone might park 3 black vans, maybe smell some Anchorman cologne, see what I can find.
Yes, sniff and taste your way to the truth, friend.
Exactly.
So we'll say Matthias gets out deftly and begins heading around the building. You walk around the back, and it doesn't take anything to see it. There are 4 vans sitting there.
What color?
Black.
Suspicious.
Blom, blom. And the air does smell of a faint... Is that Bernie's what is it? German sex.
Zexpanzer.
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 Zexpanzer is rich in the air. And you can smell it off of one of them. The back doors seem to be heavily boarded and barricaded. And you notice that the vans they've attempted to kind of cover a few of them with the tarps, but they didn't do a very good job.
Yeah, as expected. All right, I'll make my way back with the news.
Okay. Do you report this information to them?
I do.
Okay,
yes.
cool. So you guys are aware that the vans are out back. The front door seems to be unmanned. The open sign is not on.
Yeah, it's true. It is like one.
We should go in anyway.
Yes.
They could very well be in here at this very moment. At the very least, they were recently.
Everyone knows Disco never sleeps anyway, so.
It's true.
Why do you know that, Bernie?
Shut up. I know
Yes,
things.
very well. I've had Disco fall asleep on me before.
I think you've had a lot of folks fall asleep on you. Now, let's stick tight.
Yes! Sass from the burn!
Yeah, you got burned.
You got burned!
Fine then.
Not every day you get
Bernie's
burned.
gonna tap his silver tooth so it cracks like a disco ball
Oh.
and kind of glistens, you know.
Yeah, you rub some, like, plaque or something off of it, and it sheens in the sunlight.
And I look inside with it, shine like a light.
Okay, are you trying to shine it through one of the blackened windows, or are you going to try to shine it through the front door?
Yeah, I'll do it through the front door.
There is
I'm
a
not stealthy.
small window.
I'll do the window then, because you seem to be mentioning this window a lot, like it's a...
Like, no. There's a window in the door. That's what I mean. There's like a slat
Oh, okay.
in
Well,
the
like
door.
a porthole window.
Yeah, a porthole type window. And you like peek it into the porthole window in the door, which actually is a lot easier to see than the other windows. And you don't see a whole lot with the naked eye. It does seem like there is activity in there, almost as if your eyes can't quite adjust. And as you continue to peer in, trying to glance over through your eye and through the tooth that you're peering in, the flashlight tooth that you have, your eye picks up on something. It sheens across a very glittery, just gemstone covered, disco fannied, roller skate diving person as they like finger by the what little bit you can make out, and they like zoom past, unknowing that you're even there.
So there's only one person inside that I can see.
That you can see right now, but there's additional activity. You just can't make out anybody but the one person that strode by in their sequin booty shorts.
I put my hands against the window and push so that I'm going backwards, and I turn around to see everybody. Okay, everyone, I just did a bit of recon, but there seems to be one person inside there skating around. A few other folks, they're still decked out in disco because it doesn't sleep. But the lights are off. But there's people home. How do we want to go about this?
Do we think this is a trap?
Could be. Could be.
What if I
It's
kick the
time.
door open?
Wait, is it time for action?
Are you saying we have to have a disco off?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's
What is that?
exactly what I think
That's
we
pretty
should
much
do.
what's about to happen.
There is no other way this could go down. I kick the door open. I demand a disco off, a funk off.
Funk
whatever-
off. Yeah,
off.
you guys funk off. That's what we tell them.
Yeah. I'll tell them the funk has arrived.
Oh,
And they can take their funk and leave.
right.
What if I pretend to be Dallas's manager, and he's here to funk off against their best, the Boogie Oogie Oogie Man?
I will funk all over that man.
You funk them good.
You're gonna
Can I
funk him
watch?
up.
I'm ready. Wait,
Oh,
do I
I
still get to
see.
kick the door open, or should we just open it?
No, kick it open.
No,
If I
definitely
kick it, I'm just going to follow my butt.
All right. Dallas Jackson, make sure everyone's behind in the way like they want to be, with Mr. King right behind him. Everyone, make sure you have a good pose.
I got the camera because I'm really. I'm
Good.
like, yeah.
What did Matthias say? I have to know.
I will prepare for a dramatic entrance.
Yes, yeah, okay. And all of you strike your poses as Dallas, like Van Damme, puts his foot to the door, bursting it open. It is a swinging door, and it clatters open to the sight of a well-lit, it looks like the window you look through was like tinted. The room lights up. There's disco balls going, strobe lights. The center of the room is, of course, both a dance floor and seems to be some kind of rink. Disco rink for the roller. And you see a few things. As you step through and strike your very Charlie's Angels style grouping pose, you realize that there is another group here that has already struck their funky ass pose. It is the Channel 3 news team. They are already in funk-tastic position. And across the way is another news team. One that you have not had direct contact with except for Matthias. Matthias called up, well, you called up the newspaper, but in terms of another, didn't you call up the newspaper?
I called up another news team.
You did call up another news team to ask them, that's right. That was that Channel 6?
I don't think we specified.
Oh, it was the PBS station. I remember making that choice. And Channel 12, PBS is here, which is kind of a more, they're the WHYY, literally, that's actually what PBS is called in Philadelphia, the Y. The Y channel is here, and they hit a funktastic position as their group. And in the middle of the dance floor spins a incredible dancer. He strikes a pose. It is easy to see that this is the Boogie Oogie Oogie Man. His hot shorts reign supreme. His top is a smidge too short, but not missing its giant bell sleeves. He wears big glasses and is clad as such as he puts his hands out. Two women spin inward, one of which you recognize to be the intern of the Channel 10 news station. The one who potentially planted the original letter that was found.
Betrayal.
Bitch! The hell is going on here?
And he says, thanks for joining us. And he spins him outwards again in like a pose. He says, I thought you'd never figure it out. The Boogie Oogie Oogie Man. You should have started checking clubs earlier. Courtney, your intern, gives out a little bit of a maniacal laugh.
Oh, please stop that. That's a
I mean, being real here, we would have been here an hour ago, but we had to stop for lunch.
It's time for lunch, yeah.
Well, it was lunch.
The other news teams, you hear them, the ones that have been in like frozen because I told you we should stop for lunch. I knew we would be here for and they begin whispering as if they wanted to stop for lunch, but they didn't get to have lunch.
Like, we feel good. We're all fresh.
I feel feeling.
And he says, I'm glad you're here.
Oh, anybody, by the way, before we start, because I'm
You
just
really should get in on this.
I like try to reach down and grab it from you, but like I keep slipping on my damn skates because I'm like 7.5 feet up in the air. I can't give it. I know. I'm gonna be so much worse on this once okay.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine.
Ooh.
So you see, as you guys pass around, it's awkward, and the Boogie Oogie Oogie Man's like you're totally ruining his moment that he's probably planned in the mirror one too many times. He's still very young. He cannot be but 25. Max.
Oh, how precious.
I know. And you realize as he kind of strikes these poses and you guys pass booze around, there are more bodies coming into the room. The other news stations go, hey, wait a second, isn't that our intern? No, that's our intern. It looks like the interns have collaborated on this debauchery.
Bitches.
Those intern bitches. And once the booze has been passed around, everybody is, had their fill. You hear the Boogie Oogie Oogie Man go, okay, are we done yet? Because I have something to show you.
Yes, honky tonky wonky man, or boogie tookie.
I am the Boogie Oogie Oogie Man!
Boogie
And he
woogie.
strikes like a pose.
It's the groovy movie man.
How
No!
many oogies?
I'm the Boogie Oogie Oogie
The
Man!
Pookie Wookie Dookie Man. We understand. Go on with your plan.
It's fancy man.
He's beginning to get...
Hunty man.
red in
Yeah,
the
I like
face.
Honky Tonky Man.
Wanky, swanky, banky man.
And he says, enough! And he like yells and he skates around in this like moon crescent circle. And as he does, you realize that the back wall is actually like a stage. The back wall of the rink where a live band might play or something like that. And as he passes by it, he rips the curtain open. And you see all the Anchormen tied together, paired up in chairs. And it seems that their hands have been bound around something. You're not exactly sure what, as if they've been, literally, their arms bound to their side, tied to a chair, and their hand closest to you, their downstage hand, seems to be cupping something mutually together. Picture the way Indiana Jones and his father were, like, tied together.
Are they cupping balls?
Why doesn't somebody...
You would be the resident expert on this. Are they cupping balls?
They're not balls. You're very sure. It's something of... It's not a double ball. It seems to be some kind of single spherical shape, a single ball. And it doesn't seem to be fleshy. Maybe hard and green.
Are those pineapples? No, pineapples aren't green.
No.
They're
Not
all
pineapples.
gagged. They're all gagged, and their eyes get wide as they all see you. And you realize it's not just your Anchormen. It's all the
They've
news
got
team Anchormen.
all of the Anchormen.
And once again, you hear her, this is fun, as the Boogie Oogie Man says, yes, isn't it just grand? A total showstopper, something to really light this city up. He says, your silly Anchormen misuse us and mistreat us. They think they're special. They're not special.
They are special.
And he says,
Actually, we really are special.
No, they are.
they, and
They
the,
are really, really, really
yet.
special
Yes.
and important.
the other protection teams are like, yeah, they're right. We're special. And they begin muttering amongst themselves. And he says, once again, quiet. I haven't even told you the best part. And he readjusts his booty shorts to be a little bit higher and his cheeks flutter beneath them. And he says, he spins in a little crescent moon circle in his skates. And he says, within their hands lies a detonated grenade. If they drop it, kaboom.
Oh, I think I know the answer. Hey, don't drop that.
You can see everybody's like sweating. Yeah, and everybody's cupping. Like the two hands are like, they're
See, I
like
think I figured
freaking
out
out.
Some
Dallas,
breathing exercise.
it's in this moment as you're talking about the cupping of balls, that you realize center stage, tied to Dick Norton, is your very own Chloe Baxter.
No.
They share a fate together, cupping the grenade.
She's done that before, I can tell.
She has done that before, actually. I can verify.
Oh, I know. Yes, I know.
I guess we
Everybody
can all
knew.
verify, really.
Didn't you know?
And he says, "Ha! Your woman even fell." He says, even fell prey to the great Dick Norton, and he spits at them. Not so great now, are you, Dick Norton?
I mean, it wasn't that great, to be honest with you.
And he says, so I will allow one newsacre team to lead this building, but only the one that wins a dance-off. And he like flashes his hands, and the interns spin out of nowhere in their best disco regalia, and the lights like shift, and a funky tune begins to beat. And he says, "Who's first, news team? Who wants to dance?"
Excuse me, boogie fellow.
I believe his name is the Oogies.
I'm
Yes.
the Boogie Oogie Oogie Man.
Boogerman.
Yes, Mr. Oogie Man. There's something I'm missing here. Could you explain to us what's to stop us from just taking our anchors?
Well, because they will detonate the grenades. Duh.
Right, but we can still just take them if they hold on to the grenades. They'll be fine, right?
Right, he has a point. If we just rush you right now,
Well, you can't do that.
why?
You can't do that. And one of the other news teams of your nemesis, what is it, KY whatever, God, they had the most horrible name. I don't know how I managed. KY something something. Yeah, KYW Channel 3. Your director in arms steps up and he says, "What, Mr. King? Is your new team too scared to show their funk?" And he like pauses.
Mr. King actually reaches up and for the first time takes off his hat and pulls something out of his hat before putting it back on his head. And in his hand, he's holding his megaphone, his tool, his object given to him as a member of the production team.
Right, yeah, for being the great director.
Yep, and I feel like everyone else on our production crew probably gets hit by a little PTSD, knowing like how loud this thing is. And he squeezes the trigger and it lets out that like kind of like loud echoey sound.
Yeah.
And he holds it up to his mouth. And he says, "Everyone listen up. Today, we aren't talking about what news station is the greatest. We aren't talking about whose anchormen look the best. We aren't worried about the rules of funk, the laws of fighting, by God, even a director's handshake. Today, the only thing that matters is the news. Now, we can all stay here and dance with this Booger Oogie Man until
Boogie Oogie Oogie.
until eventually one crew might get away, or we can beat the living crap out of him, take our anchormen, and tell the news."
No, you can't do that. No.
Yes, we can. Yes.
I will
Can I
draw my
still
rapier,
dance to the
point
funk?
it into the air, and shout, "Huzzah!"
It looks like you actually may have actually, you know what? This seems like a provoke check because you are provoking them to attack.
Alrighty, here we go.
Different kind of provoke, but a provoke at
That
a
is a 3.
3. That is a good provoke. And it is in fact the PBS station that Matthias, they step up and say, "Here, here!" They too begin pulling from their suits and their sleeves and their socks, the weapons of their choice. One of them wields what seems to be a bedpost. Another one wields a baseball bat with nails in the end of it. The female pulls something very long and drawn out from it. It seems to be some kind of quarter staff. Each one pulling their weapon of choice. One of them draws a toaster, the weatherman, of course, and so forth. And it is, though, the other channel that you have yet to convince. Channel 3, he says, "I see what you're trying to do. All right, we team up against the interns. We defeat them, save our anchormen. The real challenge is who makes it back to the station first."
There's just one thing everyone has to remember.
What?
No hitting in the face.
Of course. And they're all like, "Yeah, no, of course. There was no hitting in the face." The intern's like, "No, you can't do it this way. Interns assemble!" And out of the wings of this space come on roller skates another, 10 interns. They seem to be pulling interns from news stations, both TV, radio, and newspaper. From across the city, and they all seem to be, you don't know, they've all trained clearly on these skates. Maybe it's just like a intern thing, they all hang out here or something. But you seem to have the place to yourself. The owner, or the man, the proprietor, who has kind of been watching, decides to board up his office for the short period of time that this is about to go down.
That seems safe. Yeah.
And we will, in fact, prep for combat. I'm going to plan to roll the other news teams quick and dirty. Unless they're going to do something really extreme or try to take major action, we'll probably just narrate their combat, since combat in Fate is meant to move quick and dirty. Like I said, there's about 10 interns, along with the 3 that were already out there, totaling about 13. It seems like the PBS station has 4 people. You guys have 5, and Channel 3 also has 5. So you guys are 1 man up on the interns. Remember, initiative in Fate is actually rolled by... I always have to look at it because I just can't remember off the top of my head. It is rolled by notice. It's how quickly you react to combat. So it's actually rolled by notice. If we get a tie, I can always move to another. Okay. Well, boop. Okay. Notice.
There we go.
Oh, okay. Well, the good news is it is Matthias that quickly and deftly acts. I'm going to roll for each of the groups individually and just do them kind of in a sequence. Oh, Lord. Yeah, DF. I always forget it's backwards. Okay. Well, the first group up, PBS station, they are only at 1. For the sake of this too, I'm going to give all of you first opportunity in terms of, like, if you ended up rolling the same thing, it's just easier for you to take it. Because I'd rather hear what you have to do than what I have to do. Another one. Oh, I didn't roll that right. Let's try that again. 4 DF. 3. So, the Y station, that's PBS, I'm sorry. WHYY. That's your group. This is their group. The channel 3 group, they rolled a 3. So, in order as it goes. On the notice. First is Matthias without question. Oh, I didn't roll for the interns. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. They don't really get any notice skills. They're just interns. But they still got a 1. So the interns got a 1. Okay. So first up will be Matthias, followed by Jennifer. Followed by the Channel 3 group, which, like I said, I may skip them if it's not really of interest to the story, or they just seem to be fighting it out and duking it out. Followed by, we'll give it to our group first, followed by Mr. Bernie. And I will, of course, keep us on track for all of this. Followed by, got it. Dallas, for you and the director were not so good. Who has the higher bonus to that? So it would be after.
Yeah, I'd like to think Dallas is a little upset there's no dance-off truly going on at this point.
Yeah.
Oh.
Aw.
I was here for the funk.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah,
No!
that's okay. WHYY will go, followed by our last two, so that it will be the director and our lovely weatherman. Okay. This is going to get kind of crazy in here. Up in here. With all these people, but we'll see how it goes. And so we begin this kind of dance-based combat. A funky tune begins to play as you begin the I guess, ritual combat, we'll call it. And we start with Matthias. How do you begin, Matthias?
One of two ways. First, let me ask you a question, because I was taking you through the combat in this system. How far away is the stage?
That's a good question. So, in Fate, usually we set up what are known as zones. So if I were to have a map, we would set up a zone. In this case, everything is happening in one zone. So that means in a single turn, you can get pretty much anywhere you want to go, as long as there's nothing keeping you from it, such as glass on the floor or somebody stepping in your way.
Okay.
A reminder that combat here, you have a few things that you can do. You can take a defensive position or an offensive position. It just depends. So you can give your turn to take defense. That way if somebody attacks you, you get bonuses. Or you can take an offensive action, use fate point, whatever you want to do.
Okay. Second question. Since the larger group of interns just arrived onto the scene, are they relatively bunched together?
I would say so. They probably flanked him. So 5 rolled in from one side, 5 rolled in from another, so he's kind of in the middle with his 2 ladies. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But I would say that they're in 2 groups of 5. How about that? So you can pick one group.
Okay. All right. Well, remember Chekhov's gun?
I do not, but sure I do.
Sure. It's a storytelling adage where if you introduce a gun into a story, you eventually have to use it. It's a
okay.
Very succinct summary. And you have introduced grenades into the story.
I did. Do you have a grenade?
Well, the Anchormen have grenades.
They do.
I am going to dash over to the stage, grab the grenade that one of them is holding and lob it into a group of interns.
Okay, so we watch. I will need a roll from you on this because here's the deal: they're going to be willing to give this up, but what the Boogie Oogie Oogie Man may not have made clear is that these have had the pins removed. So the clapping in the hands, so you basically need to make some kind of, I'd say physique maybe, to just wiggle it from them while keeping the piece down on it. So it doesn't go off right in your hand. You can lob it where you want to.
Understood.
Yep. Let's see how that goes.
Let's do it. High risk, high reward.
Please don't blow up any Anchormen.
We'll see how it goes.
I would say this is a difficulty of, I was going to say a 2, but you far surpassed that. You deftly dive up to the stage. You guys watch as you almost probably, set your case down, and you run. Thank you for that donation out there. I'll have to check that here in just a second. Here's the news. Hope you can rescue the Anchorman in time. Thank you. And we watch as he fiddles something free. In fact, from the hands, we'll say, of the closest team, which is the front and center group, your own co and lead anchor. You wiggle it free of their hands. They look absolutely terrified. Chloe has been crying her eyes out for quite a while. And you manage to get it free. You lob it over to the interns. The interns are, in fact, going to get a opposing physique roll, though I don't know that they're going to make a 5. What am I rolling? They do not. So quite a few of them are going to take some serious injuries. I would say for at least, because they'll get at least 2 boxes, so that's 4 points each. Each of them are going to take what's known as a mild consequence. You watch as not only do you mark them out of each of their what we call in this game stress boxes. They're physical stress boxes. So they are now have nothing left to give except for consequence unless you do mental damage to them. They have all taken a mild consequence. You watch as limbs fly off. There are clothes blasted off of bodies. Some of them lose teeth, large chunks of hair. But it seems that these are going to be injuries that stick with them, if not forever, for quite a while.
For the news!
Yeah, for the news. The interns are like, no, fuck the news! As their bodies explode into bits. I would say at that, all 5 of those guys are not completely out, but they're not feeling so good. They're bleeding everywhere. It's probably like that scene in Kill Bill where she comes in and just the whole floor is now spurted in blood. All right, and we move along to Jennifer.
Right, Jennifer is sort of. So all these women are on roller skates, right?
Yeah, all the interns seem to be on roller skates.
Jennifer is going to swiftly reach into her bag, pull out a can of hairspray, and just spray the floor to render it incredibly sticky. She's just like, shh.
Okay. Sticky is what we're going for. You managed to do that. So we're actually going to add a situational aspect at this moment called getting sticky. How appropriate. Getting sticky is basically now an aspect that can be used on your behalf if you want to use a fate point in the situation to benefit you, meaning it can deny me opportunity or something like that in combat. So I'm going to quick add that. Getting sticky. I can't see it. That's just way too small. Why is that being so tiny? I should make that bigger because, dear God, my poor eyes can genuinely not handle that.
Get sticky with it.
Yeah, get sticky with it. All right, so we're getting sticky up in this corner of everything. What next up would... okay, it's Channel 3's turn. Channel 3 dives in. They see the explosion, and they quickly run, basically, more towards the stage to start helping Anchormen. A few of them take up arms and begin fighting with the other 5 interns that don't seem to be so injured, as they swing random weapons, things you would not even think to use, bizarre items from grocery stores, spatulas and frying pans. There may also be a strange, very large penis in there. You're not 100% sure. A dildo or 2 get swung about. It's a very, very strange fight, but they seem to have distracted at least those 5 in their round of combat. But before their round of combat can be done, you watch as the director of Channel 3 swings his bat and knocks the teeth out of an... oh, nope, he can't do that. Knocks an intern in the gut as he spews forth blood, and he turns and he points his TV antenna that he seems to be whipping everyone with, the Channel 3 director, and points it right at Mr. King and says, "You! I want some of you," on his turn. And that is where we end Channel 3's turn, and we move over to Mr. Bernie.
Okay. Mr. Bernie's going to use a fate point
Yeah.
to invoke the getting sticky situational aspect.
Uh-huh.
Bernie is also donning some roller skates.
He
But
is.
He realizes that this stickiness. So he shouts for Jennifer to spray a line on the wall of stickiness so that Bernie can run along the side of the wall with his skates.
So, you're asking her to spray it on the wall, or you want to roll through it to get
Wall of
sticky?
death. Yeah.
So I spray along the wall, so I can almost like she's leading me, so I can run
Oh,
along
I
the side of
see.
the wall.
Okay, yeah, so it's almost kind of like a shared turn almost. But yeah, you watch as Mr. Bernie gets a nice, quick, fast start. And what is the goal of whipping around the exterior of the space?
Mr. Bernie's going to take out those 2 corn dogs that he was just licking and start shoving the popsicle sticks up into the spokes of these roller skates that they got.
Oh,
And
okay.
He's on it.
Yeah. You see that Channel 3 might have the intern problem under control, but they're not as good of fighters. So you see that they could use that help as you kind of whip around. These 5 interns are kind of ganging up on them, especially since their director has withdrawn just to pull cards at Mr. King. And sure enough, Jennifer follows you along the wall, running right in front of you as you get a speeding start, and almost like a roller derby. Yeah.
It's like Frozone.
Yeah.
When he's throwing down the ice.
Yeah, you stick to the wall as Mr. Bernie around. And are you gonna throw them? Are you jabbing them in? How do you want to?
I'm jabbing it in, and then when it's all over, I want to land next to her, kind of mirroring her pose, but with my sex panzer out to match her hairspray.
Oh, I see. Okay. So I am going to have you roll a physique. They're not going to roll against you for this. This is going to be a challenge level of a 2 to get it in their roller skates.
Can I spend anything to make this a better roll? Do big points do that, or do they just re-roll?
No, that's actually true. You can re-roll. So you can use a fate point to re-roll your roll.
Yeah.
That is something that you can do.
Okay.
If it comes out poorly.
I said I was going to do it, so I'm going to do it.
Do it. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Okay.
My physique is horrible. I'm old.
At a -3. Well, the good news is you make it over there, and you do, in fact, begin to try to poke the sticks in there. Unfortunately, the sticks break everywhere, making it problematic ground for the roller skates. You don't take them down necessarily, but you have created more of a another aspect in the situation. So we've got sticky, literally twice.
Yeah.
Double
Besides
sticky.
just like blowing people up.
Sticky floor and
chucking corn dogs.
right,
Sticks.
sticky floor and sticky sticks everywhere. As for landing the ending, I'm gonna let you do that as a drive roll because you're driving your skates.
It's true.
So you don't.
Bam.
Okay.
Whoop, bam.
At a 7,
Bam.
you may not get the sticky sticks in, but you did in fact get land the ending and have made the ground around them more difficult, which means they can't move as easy on their
You
skates.
did it with style, right? And
You
that's
do it
so
with
much
so
style,
much
yeah.
fucking style. For sure. A -3, that's not even considered, that's not even on the chart.
No.
That's not even on the chart. And we move right along. Now, it is WHYY's turn. This is the PBS station. They're a smaller group and a little, slower to act, but they don't seem to be so interested in combat as much as untying their own news team. So they begin dashing onto the stage. Let's hope none of them trigger a grenade. I rolled a critical fail. That is all negative dice on the... Oh, thank you for that out there. I heard a... Oh, thank you for the follow. They botch it. You watch as they start running through, trying to untie people, and a grenade hits the ground and rolls. across the stage into the center of everything. There's going to be about 10 seconds to retrieve it before it explodes and potentially harms quite a few Anchormen. It is now the intern's turn, them that are left standing. The ones, we're going to say the ones that took the mild consequence, are in fact trying to crawl their way or drag their way out of the room. They are no longer, at least an issue in this fact, though you can still hit them, I guess, if you want to hit a man that's down. The other ones, the 5 that have been beaten on and have been stickied by the old Mr. Bernie and have dropped sticks all over the ground, they're going to just make a physique roll to stay on their feet. Oh, no, I rolled them last time. Ooh, they only rolled a 1. That was a difficulty of a 2, so they did not make it. And they begin like, woo, as if marbles have been tossed on the ground. Their wheels cannot roll, and they begin to fall prone, taking a few of the Channel 3 Anchormen down with them. They are kind of in a cuddle puddle at the moment. That's the interns. Next up is Mr. King.
Alright, so you said this grenade is like rolling across the stage, basically?
It is. Like, you can hear it hit the floor, and it's like... as it's rolling.
So Mr. King's gonna see this
You're
Channel 3.
doing the grenades.
So Mr. King's gonna see this Channel 3 news director kind of coming at him. He's gonna look at him to look over this grenade. Then he's gonna run over towards that rolling grenade. As he's doing so, pulling out his baseball bat, and he's gonna swing his baseball bat, kind of standing on the floor below the stage, and sweep his baseball bat, catch the grenade, and kick it like a baseball right at this director.
Not like golf, surely.
Yeah, it's always like raking it and batting it all at the same time. So I too am going to make this a physique roll. It is going to be a difficulty also of a 2.
Alright, I would like to invoke a aspect.
Yes, by all
means. I want to use my former baseball manager to say that I can, like, baseball bat this thing like a baseball.
Okay, so we're going to say because you're using your baseball bat and you were a baseball bat manager, that you are going to get a bonus on this, so you get a +1 to the roll.
Very cool. So we're going to do a physique roll.
And then it'll say a modifier, just a +1.
That's a 3.
That is successful, and you knock it out of the park. He is going to... This is not going to be good for him. We are going to quickly roll a... he's going to roll a physique to try to get out of the way, though he doesn't get any bonuses to it. Out of 1, he does not beat it, and he basically catches the grenade in the chest as it explodes. He takes 2, what we consider like 2 points of damage. He will take them entirely on his stress. You guys watch, because he of course is an Anchorman, as his polyester is so thick and hearty that he manages to wrap it up in there. It explodes. You see that it rips his shirt open in the best disco fashion. He is bleeding and injured and wounded, but he has taken part of the grenade. He seems pretty injured. He only has 1 more checkbox before he has to start going to permanent damage on his body. Nice move. And then surely, the weatherman has a plan.
Surely.
Yes. The weatherman, like, the music kind of stops a little bit as the weatherman looks directly at the... How's Boogie Oogie, Mr.
Nobody has touched the Boogie Oogie Oogie Man.
So I call out to him. And I just, like, slow point. Boogie! It is partly cloudy with a 100% chance to funk.
No.
You and me.
I would funk you any day.
Careful. And what I'd like to do is call upon my aspect, right? I take out my lightning bolt talisman.
Yeah.
And basically, like, there's like crackling lightning bolts that start happening.
Yeah.
They shoot out to the light. The what's it called? Disco ball.
The disco ball. Okay.
Yeah, and it starts like going nuts, and I'd like to maybe come back, and I have a trident in my hand.
Sure,
like slowly bring it up, and like it forms a trident.
All weathermen carry tridents. It's
right.
It's part of the weatherman lineage.
But that's how mine manifested.
Yeah. Light bounces off, and the trident forms in your hand, the great weapon of the weatherman.
Mm-hmm. It's time to dance, Boogie. Now.
I'm sorry, I'm choking. I'm so tickled by this. And he says, bring it on. And he points his fingers in a very, like, fashionable way. He has not drawn a weapon yet, but you can only rightfully assume he probably will.
Careful, I think you brought finger guns.
Pew, 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 pew.
Well, I am the weather man.
Oh.
I start running.
All right, you run at him. You bring about your trident, and you are going to.
Does the immigrant song start playing?
Yeah. Yeah. It begins playing as you run across the space, probably past another the exploding producer. I mean, a director. Yeah, you're like, and you run. And you're going to try to stab him.
Yeah, right with the trident.
Right, just right in the face with the trident. Okay.
Right in the face with the trident.
He is going to.
No faces.
Oh, that's right. You know that.
Right in the throat.
Right in the below the face. Right.
The underface.
The underface. All right. So we are gonna roll opposing physique rolls in this. 4DF. He is very physique-y on his little skates.
Look, so am I. The weatherman has to stay in shape.
He got a 3. You got a 4. He takes a point of damage as you run him through kind of the chest with the trident. He says, "No!" As you run through his larynx, and you can hear him like. You may have permanently damaged. He's actually going to take that as a mild consequence.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. What did you say? I'm sorry.
Funk you!
Boogie, what?
Funk you! He
What?
keeps mouthing.
I'm gonna take it off and I'm gonna unstab him, and that's when I hold the trident up and another lightning bolt hits the disco ball as whatever the scene happens after that.
Oh, yeah, and you raise him up as light beams out, hitting the disco ball. It is a glorious, glorious, beautiful... We will say that the space reigns with disco glitter.
Mm-hmm.
Matthias.
I see that my comrades are in the midst of battle, and I see all of the other news teams going for their anchors, and I'm not going to let them get theirs free first. So I'm going to take to freeing the Anchormen duty.
Yes, yes. All right, same thing. You begin freeing them. I'm going to let you make that, unless you have some kind of special skill. I'm going to probably say that that's still a physique. Let me just double check. You may have. I don't think you do. I think I checked yours earlier. No. I would say, yeah, just take it as a physique roll if you want to try to release it without detonating it.
Okay. Is this going to be sort of an Anchorman around thing? Is that how this is going to go?
Are you going to try... You're trying to undo a few of them at once?
Well, I just don't know what the protocol here is. So, I mean, as many as I can, sure.
Yeah, so in this case, you'd probably be able to release one, but you have to tell me what you're doing with the grenade unless you're going to lob it again.
Well, in that case, I'll go ahead and release the one that I already lobbed the grenade.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, so you go
Whose grenade did I grab?
You grabbed Dick Norton and Chloe Baxter's. So, in this case, if you're just undoing the rope, you just basically undo the rope. That doesn't take any kind of special skill. You manage to undo the rope from their hands, and the gags from their mouth, and Chloe goes, "Oh, Matthias, how I've missed you." And she tosses herself about you. "Oh, my hero." And Dick Norton stands up and briefly brushes his hair, smiling and glittering into the disco light.
Affection later. We must free the rest of the Anchormen.
Yes, of course. And she almost like fainting style sits back into the chair. She ain't freeing nobody. It is Jennifer's turn.
Right. Jennifer sort of like looks over at Dallas fighting Mr. Boogie Oogie, and she's just like, "I can help." And she pulls a cigarette out of her holder, pulls a sort of a pin, sort of like dips it in some sort of substance in her bag, and attempts to dart Mr. Boogie Oogie in order to kind of.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah. I would
really strong acid or something.
Yeah, I would say that he is not in any way gonna fight you on that, because he probably doesn't notice he is in combat.
Yeah.
with Dallas Jackson.
We're
So,
in funk combat right now.
I would say,
Things are going to get extremely funky.
yeah,
Yes.
things are about to get extremely funky. You go ahead. You're still gonna need to make the. This is gonna be considered a fight because you're actually using like a melee weapon, or I mean, not a melee weapon. You're
Ranged.
using a ranged weapon. Thank you. So roll a fight if you have it. You can add it if you don't.
Fight. I do not have fight. I need to add fight. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so the good news is you're not far from him, and it's a pretty mediocre shot. You hit him like in a really odd spot, but it does in fact ping into him. And he looks down and goes, "No, that was my best leotard." What is on the end of this dart?
Some really good acid.
Okay.
So
Some
give it
solid
5
LSD.
minutes
Yeah,
and-
solid LSD.
yeah.
And he tosses it to the side and doesn't even seem regarded by it. He looks at you and he goes, "You're just a wardrobe stylist. You know nothing, Jennifer."
I know that those shorts are so last year.
Well, I know that they make my hiney look good. And he spins around one more time in combat on his wheels. And it becomes...
How is this spinning, considering that the floor's really sticky?
Oh, yeah. He doesn't spin around to show you his hiney. He can't.
He tries.
Gargling in his
He
own
tries. He goes, no, must show hiney. But he can't quite get around.
Oh, I've seen it before, dear, remember?
He begins, a single tear begins to pour down his cheek as he's coming up on the LSD, which can be a frightfully difficult 30 minutes.
Yes.
Yes. Channel 3's turn. Because in fact their director is significantly injured now. He is still smoking, his shirt completely burned away. The other ones are in the doggy pile and attempt to right themselves, but they don't manage to get much. It's a pretty embarrassing sight, in fact. Mr. Bernie.
Okay. Oh.
Yes, it's your turn there, friend.
Okay. I was waiting for a little more. Okay. So, as old boy in his hot pants tries to turn, it can't quite. Bernie gets an idea. He's going up to old boy and he's just gonna. He's got roller skates on, right?
He does have roller
Bernie's
skates on.
just gonna pants him. Just boom.
You're
straight
gonna
to the ankles.
pants him?
Gonna pants him.
That is okay. I'm gonna say because he is coming up on acid, he is on roller skates and is attempting to turn around to show you his hiney. That you will have to make a physique roll again. Actually, yeah, it is gonna be a physique roll on this one. But because he is stuck in place and because he's not really going anywhere, like you're not trying to fight him, like going away from you, I'm gonna give you a +2 to the roll.
Okay.
Because he's at basically a massive disadvantage.
Yeah, I'm gonna run up to him and like, burn, baby, burn. That's me. Whoop.
A 1 is all you needed, because, I mean, pantsing is not hard. You walk up, and it
small
takes a
shorts,
bit of
too.
effort. They are very tight on his hiney.
Yeah.
And you pants him, realizing that he's not wearing anything under his hot pants.
Ow.
The room goes, realizing that this is the worst of the worst. The room goes quiet.
Does anybody have a camera?
Me.
People gasp, even through the gags in their mouths, half the Anchormen, as if there is no worse embarrassment. He attempts to bend over and pull up his hot pants, but in the on the sticky floor and in his wheels, it is difficult and
And I'm
problematic.
hanging on to him. I ain't letting go.
You hang. He's like, no, give me my pants.
Oh no, I won't.
He says, please, why would you do such a thing?
You
I'm going
stole
to-
my anchor, and you embarrassed my team. So now it's time for the world to see you for what you really are.
He says, what I really am, and he turns around, whipping his bits about, and he says, what? Me? Look at them! And he points to the stage. They're all mean to you. Don't you know it? They think they're special. They're not special. They just read words off of a screen.
Words off a screen? Words off a screen? We have a writer who creates those fantastic words. We have a cameraman who captures them in front of the green screen. We have a director who puts them everything in line in a wardrobe woman, who makes it all beautiful. Do you think this is words on a screen, you disco bitch? No.
No, he says
News,
no.
goddammit.
Of course, he's like you are amazing. I love the production crews. It's the Anchormen and women that I despise. They treat all of you with your amazing skills like garbage.
What about the weathermen? And women?
This isn't about you, Dallas.
Yes, it's not always about you, Dallas. Somebody yells from the background. Go love
I
up.
speak on behalf of all weathermen.
And as
Don't you see, Boogie, that by doing this, you've hurt all of us, not just the Anchormen?
What? No, I never meant to hurt you.
Without the Anchormen, we are nothing. Nothing.
We are everything.
Without the
pecking
Anchormen, there
orders.
is no news.
And he
Yeah.
starts his lip starts trembling. I'm actually going to do something we haven't done before. This is going to be a will attack on him. You guys are breaking him down. Who would like to make the will attack? Because you're gonna. I was about to say because you're gonna make it with a +1. So you come up after all this, standing over him, knowing that you were the man that hired him. The one that gave him the opportunity that corrupted him. And in this moment, you look down at him, and what do you say to break his will?
He pulls out his megaphone again because he just feels the need to do that all the time.
It's always pulling out like
Yeah.
He never actually has it out already. Pulls out and says, "Boogie Oogie Oogie Man, more like the Booty Oogie Man."
No.
Lester, I told you the day I hired you. The Anchormen are like gods. They run this city, this world. They give us our powers, and you dare try to take that away. And for that, we are going to take your funk away.
No! All right, so let's see if you do in fact take his funk away. Make the will roll with a +1 modifier. He will attempt to roll against you, but he doesn't have a very high will.
And will's a skill, or is there...
Will is a skill. Will is a skill. You could, you're not technically provoking him. It is a will. But make sure you add that +1.
Yes. All right, so this is with a +1. There we go. That is a 3.
You beat him, and it is a terrifying sight. You watch as this pantsless, skates on, kind of frail man, no longer looking as funky as he once did, begins to ugly cry. Sob on the ground. He bends over, ass in the air as he cries into the ground. It is a sight to behold. The women in the room begin whispering, especially the 2 interns that were on his side. And he says, "I just wanted to be an Anchorman." Ah.
But Oogie, there are other parts of this great ship than the anchor.
And it takes all of us to make the news happen.
You could have been a paid intern if you stayed long enough.
What? There are paid interns?
Yes. It's just, I mean, you
Hold
can
on.
sometimes-
Is anyone? People are paid?
Dallas, this isn't about you.
Yeah,
This
shut
isn't
up.
about you, Dallas.
Damn it. Fuck, just get here.
And it is
I'll put a camera in the corner. Get in front of it. Get where you belong.
As that begins to happen and the child breaks down, the click of fine leather heels, really, dress shoes, click to the edge of the stage. Dick Norton has taken his stand, we'll call it. And as he walks up, he says, "Anchormen, production teams alike, we come here today to survive. This young child was simply trying to survive. Except for when I fired him. Let us share the good news of a second dawning, a new age in Anchormen." All the other Anchormen are trying to talk, but he's the only one that has the gag out of his mouth. So he's just gonna keep talking.
Phil,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he gets rolling, and as soon as he can feel the camera, he pans to it, slicking
Jennifer's
his hair
just going to
back.
slide in and pound on his face.
And he begins in this recorded rant, basically, into the screen. There is just Bernie frames the camera ever so slightly, so it captures the naked, crying hiney of the intern in the background as he wails on the ground like a child. The news teams in the back are all injured. There are body parts laying about. And Bernie captures it all in the beautiful image of the news. Dick Norton says, "And I come to you today to tell you that our production teams are heroes. For no god is anything without a hero. For their mortal bidding must be done by mortals. And we, the news team, turn to them, the production crews. Bernie, turn the camera around."
Wait a minute. Do you seriously?
Turn the camera around, Bernie.
Okay. Turn the camera around. Lost in the passion.
And Bernie is on the front side of the camera for the first time ever in his old life. Dallas
Is it like his
Jackson.
nose, like is right there?
Yes,
planted
like,
into the front of
this
his-
is what...
Whoa. I don't know what to do on this end.
And then, he pans it like up and over his head to get the whole room. It is a scene of chaos, but the production crew get their moment in the limelight. As the rest of the Anchormen are still tied to chairs, grenades still in hand. And we hear the faint voice of a woman, "Oh, Dallas!" As she comes bolting off the stage, Chloe Baxter, and throws her arms around you.
I saw the trident in hand, like still in that disco pose. Like,
Yeah.
oh,
He hasn't moved like the last minute and a half.
He's just waiting on somebody to take his picture.
right. Someone needs to put a camera on me. This is a great pose. I mean, I've been practicing this for years.
What have we said? What have we said, Dallas?
It's not about me.
Oh my god.
It's never about me.
No.
Anyways, Chloe, madam, my love kitten, my
Yes.
snippy wookies.
My Dallas, my beautiful weatherman.
You're not wrong.
I'm not. I never am, and neither is my diction.
He's gonna toss her down with one hand,
Oh, Dallas.
and then give her a big old smooch.
Oh, you're gonna kiss her. Okay, great. Yeah, you lay one on her, and she.
But that's the last kiss you'll ever get from Dallas Jackson, baby.
What? No, Dallas. Why?
I know about you.
About what?
You and Dick.
Blom, 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 and the camera like in on Dick Norton, and he says, "What? No. This is not true. Why would you attempt to frame your Anchorman?" And she goes, "Dallas, no, it's not what you think."
Not what I think.
She goes,
Then you tell me what I should think.
I
'Cause
know.
I'm tired of thinking right now.
Yeah, and she's like, "Dallas, calm down. You know what happens to your brain when you get too excited." She goes, "Dallas, put the trident away. This is no time for weapons. You don't understand.
your shit
Dick
together,
Norton,
and
Dick
you tell me
Norton.
what's
No, you
going
don't
on."
understand. Dick Norton is." And as before she can get out of her mouth, Dick Norton goes, "I'm gay."
What?
What?
I knew it.
And the whole room
This
goes.
why you're giving out donations because you found a heart?
He goes,
That's
"I'm
why you'd only do me from behind.
gay." And he begins a manly cry in front of the screen. And that is where we will end today's episode. Early of the fate of the Anchorman, with the reveal that only part of the Anchor people have been saved. For the rest of them are still tied to the stage with grenades in hand, live grenades. The rest of our Anchor crew has been roughly assembled, but only to find out that Chloe and Dick Norton were not in cahoots. Well, at least not the way we thought. So let's go around. I know we are like significantly early, but
like,
they're
did they
just
go
besties.
clothes shopping together? Because now I really like them. Like I'm like, oh.
Oh, wow, okay. Yeah, and I know we ended early, but you guys bypassed my dance off, so.
Sorry,
Oh,
I'm so
man.
sorry.
Don't be sorry. It's my job just to put shit there, and if you don't want to do it, we gotta do it. You want to go? You want to dive into?
Your dance off.
He did it. I loved it. He was like, "No, can't we just attack the kid in the shorts?"
There's like 3 of you and like 15 of us.
Let's go kick his ass.
Yeah. That was probably Boogie Oogie Oogie's biggest mistake was not counting the full numbers.
He's only an intern. They can't count.
Nope.
They're bloody you.
Oh my god. All right, so. We're just going to go around really quick. Cast and crew, tell us again who you are, where we can find you online. And we do have one more episode next week. This is partially why I ended it early, because we have a race that needs to happen. We must get the Anchorman
actually tell the news.
across town to tell the real news. Now, if I remember correctly, Mr. Bernie has a bit of camera footage. We've taken footage at the docks.
We've admitted that there's now probably the first openly gay news anchor.
Oh, openly gay news anchor. We got that on camera. And I feel like there was another bit of footage you took. Dallas did something down in the docks, but there was another piece of news. I can't remember what it was. I'll have to go back and look at that because
we were right in front of the warehouse, and that's when Matthias gave me a line, a really good line. I can't remember what it is now.
that's okay. I'll go back and get it because that is going to become
Local docks ill-suited for crime, I believe it was.
There we go.
local docks ill-suited for crime, because those are going to become the clips that are shown on the 6 o'clock news as you attempt to tell the first story of the fate of the Anchormen. All right. So let's go around. We're going to start at the end and work our way back. Mr. Rimley Farr.
Yeah. Had a good old time today. I got to pants somebody virtually,
You did.
so I don't get in a whole lot of trouble for it. But yeah, you can find me. The name's Rim. You can find me here at rimleyfar.com. It's fairly easy to remember. And Twitter at rimleyfar as well. I do D&D conventions. Commissions. I did a D&D convention earlier this year. For adventure writing. So, and I now have an open plate, more or less, because one of my adventures just hit market 2 days ago. The Madhouse of Tasha's Kiss. It's a nice little Halloween adventure. And I'll link that. But that is me. Feel free to give me a follow, or if you have a good idea and need someone to help make it happen.
Yeah.
I'm the guy who can do it for you.
It's true. Rim's a great writer. He keeps me inspired to make sure I keep writing because I am just like the worst procrastinator when it comes to writing. Yes, fantastic. Thank you, Mr. Rimley Farr. And next week, we'll have a special little outro for this game, which I'm very excited about. Revealing, of course, the fates of all of our production crew, as per the Anchorman movie. But what about old Matthias Gildenthorne? How were you tonight, Adam? And did you have fun and all that jazz?
I had so much fun. When it first started, I wasn't really sure what to expect, because I've been like Dungeons and Dragoning for 20 years, and I've been doing various sci-fi games, but I wasn't quite sure how to do an Anchorman game. But I gotta say, I really feel like the groove is being gotten into. Yeah. And I'm enjoying myself quite a lot.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, Fate's one of those things. It's like you got to get the vibe for it and realize that like it's really not all about rolling, which a lot of the time, a lot of your other tabletops are. It's like roll for everything. This is really roll for very specific things. And the rest of the time, fucking have some fun. You know what I mean?
It's been an absolute blast. But you can find me at Meet Adam Jones on the Twitters, and I am a cast member of the Loot and Dagger podcast, an actual play D&D affair. So it's a whole lot of fun. Recommend going and taking a listen.
Tis. I would second that statement.
But that's me, and I'm just happy to be here.
Awesome. And always happy to have you, friend. Next up, Miss Fuzzy.
Hello. Right, I'm Fuzzy Freaks. You can find me over on twitch.tv/fuzzyfreaks and also Twitter at TwitchFuzzy, because brand cohesion is not a thing I do. It's just not. Yes, at the moment I've been playing a lot of the hell have I been playing? I've actually started doing I'm in the middle of a Mass Effect.
I was about to say, you played some serious Mass Effect the other day. I watched that.
Yeah, I'm basically doing a trilogy run at the moment. I'm on Mass Effect 3.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, getting there. It's my least favourite, and then I'm probably going to do Andromeda as well because I'm a masochist. I like the combat.
Yeah.
I love the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the story is, but the combat is fun. It's just like, especially for Vanguard, just.
I like the character animations.
Yeah.
I like the fact that every single Angaran has the same face. Also, all the Asari have the same face. Sorry, that bugs me. Yeah, so that's me. I'm doing a lot of Andromeda and probably RimWorld tomorrow because it just went into it just full release.
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
well, we know
RimWorld
where I'm
came
gonna
out
be.
today.
Holy crap. I love RimWorld. We may have to play some RimWorld together. I didn't know you were all into
That
that.
sounds like a great world.
Yeah.
where everything is me.
Yeah, everything. It's the world of only Rim.
Yay! No one else is allowed.
So much rimming. So much.
So much
All of
rimming.
it.
So much rimming. Awesome. Yeah, check out Fuzzy and all of her video game play. And you do a couple other campaigns too, don't you?
At the moment, I'm in Josh's Vampire the Masquerade
Right.
edition one, which is on Mondays, where I play a awful old lady, and well, she's nice, but
I was about to say, she's pretty awesome.
she smells so bad though. And then soon on Fridays, I'm going to be in a campaign with Koibu, Neil Koibu Eriksson, sort of, and we're doing it's called a Cuban Nights, and it's going to be weird. It's cool.
I shall be
playing.
interested to check that out. And if you haven't checked out that Vampire the Masquerade she talks about, you can check out Josh's channel. I believe that's Gaming
FTL.
FTL. And I got to guest with him the other day, and I had a blast playing with them. So check that out. Next, Mr. Jack.
Hey, yeah, I go by Jacko Buddy basically everywhere. Twitter, DM's Guild, Patreon, all the different places where I do lots of writing. I do like D&D campaigns and stuff on the DM's Guild. I am now a freelance writer for City of Mist, so that's really exciting. I am working on just a lot of different projects like that. I did some editing work as well, like Encounter Roleplay and groups like that. So I do a lot of writing. Tuesday nights, the company that I own, Reliant Games, runs a stream on our Twitch channel where we play, right now, a City of Mist campaign, but we kind of jump between different TTRPGs. On Wednesday, next week, I'll be here. And Thursdays, I run the Island in the Sky campaign on Unmade Gaming's channel, which Little Red Dot is a part of as well, playing a super cool mohawk wearing monk with stone fists.
It's true. If you want to see me pound rock and wear a mohawk, well,
Yep.
it's pretty metal up in there, if I must say so
Sign me
myself.
up for that.
yeah. I love. It's a great game, and I absolutely love playing Under Jack. So if you haven't checked that game out, we're the bestest of friends over there. It's a very friendship. We're figuring it out. We're kind of stumbling through things, but it's working.
And next week or tomorrow night, y'all are gonna be fighting a giant ice worm, so that should go well.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Yeah, and then I love this game. It's got all the spirit of Anchorman in it, all the one-liners, all the funny things.
Yeah.
Someone got pants. It was a good time. We got to call him the Boogie Oogie Man, so I'm good. I love it.
Yep. It's definitely been interesting. We'll see how next week closes up and convenes. And last but certainly not least, James.
Hello, I am James Stiver. You can find me at I am Stiver on the tweets, on the Twitter world,
The
whatever.
universes.
the universe where you tweet things at people and they hate you. I don't know.
This is not how it works, I don't think.
Oh, okay.
Try again,
but
Weatherman.
Yeah, I know. But I am I am also a cast member of Loot and Dagger. So you can also find Loot and Dagger anywhere you can find podcasts. 'Cause that's what we are. We're an actual play podcast where we fight the Dungeons and the Dragons. We do that stuff.
Yeah.
And I am having an absolute blast. I think across the board, it feels like everyone's having a good time.
Good. Yeah.
We're just getting really silly. That's why when I asked, like, can I just throw a lightning bolt against a disco ball and that forms a trident? Because I feel like that's just
The hell
that's
wouldn't
fine.
it? Yeah, the hell wouldn't.
There's a lot of weird magic in the Anchorman world.
Yeah.
Magic that goes.
Yeah, right. I think I actually Conch Show. I actually think I wrote a paragraph in the upcoming book, the game guide, that was like, rules of Fate of the Anchorman. Don't take it too seriously, and always let your players do the most. Like, the more ridiculous, the better, because anything is possible in the world of Anchorman.
Because really, what we've done is still kind of toned down to what the movies have done. So, you know, like if you look at the movies, I think we're still like a little afraid to go full in.
We're
right?
still, yeah.
The full
So,
Monty.
you know, push it. Like, I literally said that I was like, just give it all you've got. The more ridiculous, the better. So, I'm glad you picked up on that. That's good. That makes me feel like, now that I wrote that, I probably should have wrote that. Awesome. And I am Little Red Dot. This is my channel. I don't run a whole lot of tabletop RPG over here, just a few times. Once a week, my Wednesday indie games. This process will continue. I'm starting it with this little lovely thing, which again, you can find out more about and how you can get your hands on that PDF by actually donating to my Ko-Fi. For a cup of coffee, you get a PDF of what will eventually be the fate of the Anchorman release. So I'm working hard on that. If you don't already follow the channel, give it a follow. I'm going to continue our Wednesday night shenanigans. In the month of November, I begin announcing the cast of our upcoming campaign of the brand new RPG called Capers, which I'm very excited about. It's basically an alternate Roaring Twenties where gangsters have superpowers.
Nice.
Yeah. It's gonna be awesome. The cast is just stellar. I'm so excited. And actually, the writer is coming on to play. So I'm really excited to have the writer on board and in a new seat there. So we'll see how the writer Craig feels about all of this. And what's really cool about it is a non-dice based RPG. It uses everybody has their own deck of 54 cards. So we will be using actually Roll20 in a new way. You won't be seeing dice rolls. You'll be seeing actually us play digital cards, which should be pretty interesting. So we're going to take a peek at that next month. So make sure you follow so you can get all the updates. And you know what? If you're not really a social media person, don't worry. I keep a Discord for the same reason. I make all the same posts, oftentimes posting more personal things like my DM notes, and I do a lot of questioning. I mean, I decided for Capers, actually thanks to both a conversation I had with the writer and some inspiration from my Discord the other day, what setting and city I wanted to use, and I was between two, and I have decided on New Orleans. So we will be set in New Orleans in the Roaring Twenties. We'll have a couple backdrop cities like New York and Atlantic City, some of the bigger bad guys and gangsters will come from there, but I want to see what comes out of the bayou in the 20s. So those things are coming. Gators, big ass fucking gators. That's really what I've got for you right now. I know we ended a smidge early, but once again, the story ends where it ends, friends. So we will see you again next week for the finale of Fate of the Anchorman, as we see, will the Channel 10 news team beat the Channel 3 news team to telling the 6 p.m. news by getting their Anchormans back in one piece? Until next week, everyone, remember not to take life too seriously. We'll see you then. Bye.